Welcome back. In the last tutorial I showed you how to begin and how to get all the first 10 rows done, and now we're about to start row 11. So to start row 11 you're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then turn, and you're going to find your first chain 3 space and put a single crochet, then chain 3 and work a V-stitch into your next V-stitch. And then after your V-stitch you will want to chain 1, and in this little space we made last round of our double crochet, chain 3 double crochet, worked in our 1 double crochet. We're going to be putting 7 double crochets. So work your 7 double crochets all in the same stitch. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So after your 7, chain 1 and then V-stitch in your next V-stitch. And then you'll chain 3 and then find your next space. We have 2 left now in this pineapple that we've been working on. You'll find your first chain 3, center of your chain 3 space here, and single crochet, chain 3, and then find your last one here, and then chain 3. Now we have 1 left on this pineapple, and then we'll go right back into our V-stitch on this side and do a V-stitch, which is going to be the beginning of the repeat for this row 11. So we just did a V-stitch, which is where we began here. So now you will chain 1, put 7 double crochets worked into this big chain 3 space, then chain 1, then do your next V-stitch, chain 3, then connect your single crochet into this one, chain 3, connect to your next center single crochet here on this side with a single crochet, or chain 3, sorry, with single crochet. And then you chain 3 and you begin your next V-stitch again, which will bring you back up to here. So continue that, and then when you get to the end of the row, you'll want to find, let's see, so I'm trying to find where I am here. Okay, you'll want to put 4 double crochets worked into this space here that we made before. So it's going to be a half of one of these that we just made. We're going to be putting 4 double crochets in that space. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that will end row 11. So for row 12, you'll want to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then turn. And now working in the next double crochet, because this chain that we just did, chain 4, will count as a double crochet and a chain 1. So find the next double crochet, the row, so out of your 3 that you did here, you did this one and then find the next, you will want to put a double crochet and chain 1. Then your next double crochet, do a double crochet and chain 1. And then the last double crochet, you want to put a double crochet and chain 2. So the very last one, you'll be doing a chain 2. Then you'll want to go right in and do your V-stitch. 1, 2, and 1 and 2. So after you do your V-stitch, you'll want to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we have a single chain 3 space here. So you're just going to find the center chain, do a single crochet, then chain 3, find your next V-stitch, and do a V-stitch inside. Whoa. This is one of the easier rows. Okay, which brings you back up to this one. So when you're ready with this one, before it, you will chain 2, go and do that first double crochet, and put a double crochet and chain 1. Then do that for all of the double crochets except for the last one, which will be your 7th double crochet. Because after the last double crochet, you will want to chain 2 afterwards. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. This is my 7th. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is my 7th. So after it, I want to chain 2. 1, 2. And then put a V-stitch in your next V-stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, and that's where you will begin your repeats. So you just did your V-stitch after your cool little fan thing here, and you just basically did a half a fan thing here and did your V-stitch. So like I said, you're in the same repeating spot. So now you'll need to chain 3 single crochet in that one this one chain 3 space here. Find the middle chain, and then chain 3, do your V-stitch, then chain 2, do your 6 double crochet, chain 1, and then you'll do your 7th double crochet and you'll chain 2, and then you'll do your V-stitch again, and then you'll repeat again from here. And when you get to the end, you should see here where I am. When you get to the end, you will be chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3. Again, you'll find the center of the chain 3 here, because we started with a chain 3 here. So 1, 2, 3 is my beginning 3. You'll find the center and put a single crochet, which will become your last stitch of the round. Now you'll want to chain 5. So that was row 11. So this is row 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. So this brings us to row 12. So to begin, you'll want to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And flip. Turn, whatever. And in your first V-stitch here, you want to put a V-stitch. 1, 2, chain 2, and then finish your V-stitch. Okay, first V-stitch. And then you'll want to chain 2, and now working in the spaces in between. I'm sorry, working in the spaces in between. Actually, you want to chain 3, sorry. Chain 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to be working in the spaces in between. Oh, sorry, I had a cough there. And you'll do your single crochet. chain 3, find the next chain 1 space here, do a single crochet. We're starting to get our 5 little chain 3 spaces again. So chain 3, find the next chain 1 space. When you get done, you should have your 5 little spaces back again. Okay, now one more here. Okay, yep, now I got my 5 little spaces. Then chain 3, then put a V-stitch in your next V-stitch. And this time we will be bridging the gap by just going right over to our next V-stitch on this side and just putting a V-stitch in that one. Don't do any chaining or anything, just go right over to the next V-stitch and put a V-stitch. And that's where we'll be repeating our place. So this one here is this one on this side. So now you're going to be doing your chain 3s and connecting the chain 1 spaces in between to create your 5 little mini spaces again. Then you'll chain 3, then you'll do your V-stitch, and then you'll bridge way on over and do your next V-stitch again, which will bring you back up here again. So you repeat that for the row, and when you get to the end, you will chain 3, and then you'll find your, again, your little chain 1 spaces in between here, and do a single crochet. Chain 3, find your next chain 1 space. So you've gotten 1 now on this side. 1, should have 2 completed. Oops. 1, 2, oh. This is my 3rd. Find my middle. After this double crochet here, remember I said this chain 4 counts as a chain 3, and then a chain here at the top. Using that 4th chain as my single crochet, giving me 2 little spaces here. So now it only leaves 1 place, which would be the top of my double crochet on this side. So we have 1, 2, 3, which is the top of my double crochet, and then 4, which is the chain 1 space that we just put the single crochet. So count up 1, 2, 3, and in the top of this 3rd chain, you'll want to put a double crochet, but first chain 1 and then do the double crochet. It'll give you that space there in the end. So that brings us to the end of, that's 12. So now we're going to be on row 13. So continue that, and when you get to the end, for row 13, how you started is you chain 1 and you turn, and you single crochet in this first stitch, which is our double crochet, and then chain 3, and then single crochet in our next little chain 3 space, and then chain 3, and then in the next little chain 3 space, which gives us 2 little spaces here. Then you'll chain 3 and put a V-stitch in your V-stitch. And then this time, between the 2 V-stitches, we're going to be chaining 1. So did your V-stitch, you'll chain 1, and then work a V-stitch in the next V-stitch. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to be working in the center chains of our little chain 3 spaces again. This row we should have 4 little chain 3 spaces, because last time we had 5. 5s. 1, 2, 3. On the next. 1, 2, 3. On the next. Make sure you have 4 little spaces. Then chain 3 and find your next V-stitch, which is going to be where we are going to be repeating our pattern. So just did your last V-stitch here, which will bring you up to this V-stitch. Now you're going to want to chain 1, do a V-stitch in your next V-stitch, chain 3, and then do your little chain 3 single crochet spots here until you have 4. Chain 3, and then do your next V-stitch. Then you'll be getting here again. Well, you chain 1, do your V-stitch, and when you get to the end, then you do your little V-stitch here. You just want to do a double crochet in the very top of this chain 5. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you'll do a, nope, no chaining or anything. You just go right into that top chain 5 into a double crochet. Sorry, I had a cough. Put a V-stitch inside this first V-stitch. And then chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll start your chain 3 spaces here. You've got 4 last row, so this row you should have 3, 1, 2, and 3. So you have your 3 this time. Chain 3, and now in your V-stitch, work another V-stitch. Going a little faster because you've pretty much got the hang of it now. It's just teaching you how to do it from this side. So now we did our chain 1 here, last row, so now we'll want to chain 2 and work a double crochet in that chain 1 space and last row, and then chain 2. Then work a V-stitch in the next V-stitch. Stupid hair, got caught in it. Always getting hair caught in it. So now you have your chain 2, double crochet, chain 2 in between your V-stitches. Then you'll be repeating from where you end this V-stitch with the beginning of this. So now you're going to chain 3, do your little chain 3 spaces. You should have 3. You'll chain 3, you'll start your next V-stitch, and then you'll chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, do your V-stitch. And repeat that for the rest of the row. And when you get to the end, you will chain 3, then find the center of the the chain 3 space. Chain 3 again, find the center of the next one as well. And then you'll want to chain 1 and do a double crochet in the very last stitch. So you'll go boom, boom, then chain 1, double crochet. So that was 14, right? So now this is 15. So for row 15, you will want to chain 1, turn, do a single crochet in this beginning stitch, the top of our double crochet here, chain 3, find our next chain 3 space, single crochet in the center, and then chain 3, and you're already going to come over here and start your V-stitch. So you only really have one chain 3 space here. Then chain 2, and then this chain 1 space we're going to be doing our double crochet, chain 3, then double crochet. Then on the other side of it, we're going to chain 2 and do our V-stitch. So we have our double crochet, chain 3, double crochet worked in our chain 1 here. And then you'll want to do your chain 3, find your middle chain, your little chain 3 spaces, start working those. 2, 3. My camera is almost running out of batteries. Okay, then when you get done, you should have 2 little spaces. Then you'll chain 3, and you'll do your V-stitch on this side. And then that will begin your repeat for this row. After this V-stitch on this side, you'll be here. Then you'll want to chain 2, and then double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in your chain 1 space. Then chain 2, do your V-stitch. Then you'll chain 3, and you'll create your 2 little chain 3 spaces here. Chain 3, and you'll be back up here again to your V-stitch. So continue that until you get to the end. And then you'll want to chain 2 after your last V-stitch. And then in the third chain, 1, 2, 3, I'm counting up from the bottom, you will want to do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And that completes row 14, right? 16. So now we're going to be doing 17. Okay, so we got to the end of row 16. So for row 17, we need to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and turn. And now in this space, sorry about my light, it's not as bright. The main light ran out of batteries. It's a long tutorial. So in this last little space, you want to do 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets, because this chain will count as 1. So now you have a total of 4 double crochets here. The chain and then 3 worked into this stitch. Then you'll want to chain 1 and work a V-stitch and your following V-stitch. Double crochets, and we're done. Okay, so then we need to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then our middle chain of our little chain 3 space, do a single crochet, and then in chain 3 and single crochet in our next middle chain 3 space, then giving us 1 little space on the top, and then you'll work a V-stitch in your next V-stitch. And then after that, you'll want to chain 2, and now in this big old space here, you'll want to work 7 double crochets. Actually, not chain 2, you're only going to be chaining 1 after your V-stitch. So only chain 1 and put 7 double crochets worked into this big chain 3 space. 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. After you got your 7 double crochets, chain 1, and then you'll work a V-stitch in your next V-stitch. And I've got a hair that's getting in the way. Okay, then after this you will be repeating this V-stitch that you just did will be the repeat of this V-stitch. So now what you're going to do is chain 3, then do your last little mini chain space by doing your single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Then you do your chain 3, then you'll do your V-stitch, chain 1, 7 double crochets worked in this chain 3 space, chain 1, and then you'll have your next V-stitch, which will start you right back up here again. When you get to the very end and you've done your V-stitch after your 6 double crochet things here, you'll want to chain 3 and then find the center chain 3 space here and do a single crochet. Then you'll want to chain 1 and do a double crochet in the last stitch, and that will end row 17. Now for row 18, you will chain 1 and turn. And then you will you'll single crochet in the top, the beginning double crochet, the first stitch of the row, and then you'll chain 3 and you will work a V-stitch in the next V-stitch. Then you chain 2, and then you'll find your first double crochet of this 7 double crochets here, and you'll put a double crochet and chain 1, and you'll put a double crochet and chain 1 and the following 6 double crochets, and then when you get to the 7th, put a double crochet and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Always count. I have 7, so chain 2 and work your next V-stitch. And this is basically ending the pineapple stitch for 1, and then you'll be beginning your little mini ones on another. So this is your last row before you start repeating from the last video again. So you have your V-stitch after this, and then you will want to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, find the center chain spot here, put a single crochet and chain 3, and it basically ends that pineapple area. Then you'll do your V-stitch on this side, which is the beginning of the repeat for this row. So now that you've got your V-stitch on this side, you're brought back up to here. So now you're going to want to chain 2, yes, chain 2, and then double crochet, chain 1, and then following 6 double crochet in the 7th. Then you'll chain 2, and then you will do your V-stitch, chain 3, finish up your last chain 3 space here by just connecting into the middle third, the middle of the 3 chains here. Then you'll chain 3 and you'll do your V-stitch again, which will bring you back up to here again. So you repeat that for the row. And when you get to the end, you'll want to chain 3 and then single crochet. I'm sorry, not single crochet. You'll want to chain 2. Sorry, I was looking at this backwards, this graph I'm using. You'll chain 2, and then you will work in these last 4 double crochets here. One of them is a chain. You will put 1 double crochet and chain 1, and the next 3 double crochets. So 1 double crochet, chain 1. Okay, did that 3 times, chain 1. Now on the very last double crochet, just put a double crochet in the top of the chain 3. And then you will chain 3. And this is where you end your repeating row. So from now on you will go back to row 7 and you will end on row 18. You'll be repeating those rows over and over and over again. Let me just make sure. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You'll be ending with row 17. And row, let me just double, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I thought the last two rows were 17 and 18. Oh, I hope I didn't confuse you. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so the last row we did was 17. So you will be doing rows 7 through 17, the very last one. So mark this time so that you'll remember. It's pretty much the end of the video, so it's going to be easy enough to figure out. And after this, you will just repeat back from row 17, row 7. So what did you do for that one? You began with a chaining. You remember you started with chaining 3, and then you started working in between the chain 1 spaces. So that's what you're looking for. So back up in the the first video, look for row 7 where you begin to chain 3 and you're chaining, connecting in between. And then that's it. You'll just keep repeating those over and over again. And I wanted to grab my thing here. I have a total of 7 rows of the pineapple. So I'm counting like 1, 2, then 3. So I have 7 total going back and forth, full ones. So it was a good size for me. For what I wanted. If you're going to make a wider shawl that wraps around you better, then maybe you don't want to do as many rows, or maybe you want to do more. So it's up to you. However you want to, it's your project. So if you do decide, like I did, to add a button, I would suggest putting it on somebody who would wear this kind of nicely, and mark it here and find the button on the other side. It's the easiest way. There's no like direct way to say, the 4th pineapple from the bottom, put the button. It's different for everyone. So if you're making this one for somebody specific and you're making it small to fit them or yourself, then just get it on you, hold it on the side where you want it, and then have your button ready and just sew it on. That's the best way I can say. If not, then just use it for a shawl. So that has been the tutorial to show you how to make this pineapple stitch shawl. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please don't forget to like and share this video, and you can find this pattern with pictures on my site, as always, at www.melodorascreations.com. And also I have this yarn for sale on my site, on my yarn shop, for as long as this season lasts. So please pay attention to what date you're watching this video, because it might be years past. So anyway, so that's been the tutorial. I hope that you like it, and thanks for watching.